Welcome to the Saveur Test Kitchen. Today on Dueling Dishes, Icebox Pie, pitting upscale comfort queen Nancy Olson versus the ultimate pie pro, Kieran Baldwin.
My name is Nancy Olson. I am the pastry chef at Gramercy Tavern.
My name is Kieran Baldwin, and I'm the pastry chef at the Dutch in New York City.
I like to make desserts that are very homey and comforting. I think no matter what you've had for dinner, by the time you get to dessert, you want something that feels really safe and comforting.
Well, as a pastry chef, I think I take a very similar approach sometimes to savory chefs, which is powerful, strong flavors. The icebox pie that I'm making today is a maple icebox pie. Basically, it's cold. In the end, is the most important thing.
I am making a lemon icebox pie. I am doing one that is no bake, but I like the pairing of lemon and chocolate. So we're doing a chocolate and hazelnut crumb crust and a chocolate hazelnut caramel as a middle layer.
How's it going?
Good.
Good.
So icebox pie, you don't serve that in your restaurants, do you?
I don't. Do you?
Actually, I had one on this summer. Yeah.
Really? This is your crust.
Yes. So these are vanilla wafers that we make actually from scratch. And then there is sugar in the raw, a little bit of maple sugar because this is going to be a maple crumb crust. There's some spices. It's a little bit of cinnamon, ground ginger, and a little bit of mace, which is one of my favorite secret ingredient spices. Now I'm gonna go back over there and I'm gonna melt this butter in the microwave.
Let's see what Nancy's up to.
I am making a caramel. And right now I just have sugar and water in this pot. And once it comes up to a boil, I have cream ready to pour in there as soon as that caramelizes, just to stop the cooking.
Let's just get all this out of here. You want to keep a crust kind of nice and fluffy. You don't want it to get hard in the shell. Kind of move the crumbs around to make a really, really thin layer on the bottom, and then kind of push them up the sides of the shell a little bit. So there we go. It's just very lightly patted down.
A lot of people have developed a taste for that kind of burnt caramel flavor.
Once it all gets in there, we're gonna want it really nice and dark. It will be almost scary dark. It will start to smoke a little bit. Here we are, we're almost there. You can tell it's starting to smoke, but there's really nothing to be afraid of. And then here's the only thing, just be very careful pouring the cream down the side.
It's like kind of the color of a coffee with a little bit of milk.
It is. That's a really good way to describe it. Now that it's still really hot, what we're going to do is add it to some chocolate.
Okay.
And make it so it's a chocolate caramel. I toasted up some hazelnuts and ground them up very, very finely. There we are. We have a beautiful chocolate hazelnut caramel.
Well, I am in the process of starting a caramel also. So this is just grade B maple syrup and then a half of vanilla bean. We're gonna cook it until it is thickened and it starts to darken, and then right when you see it start to smoke is when you know that it's ready. Just trying to burn it the right amount.
So far in this pot I have sugar and lemon juice, and now I'm just adding the zest of 1 lemon. In this bowl I have Cointreau. We're adding just a little bit of that in there. And I sprinkled some powdered gelatin over that. It's going to bloom.
This is what the finished maple syrup actually looks like.
Really?
After maple syrup, take it all the way to caramel, deglaze it with cream. And you can see there are all those delicious little vanilla beans in there as well. Flavored whipped creams are one of the best things to pull out just to add a little bit of flavor to things. I always like doing whipped cream by hand. It's just, I think it comes out nicer.
Because you got guns.
Indeed.
Yes.
Taste your guns.
Taste your guns.
We are starting to make lemon curd. We have sugar, lemon juice, salt, eggs, and a little extra egg yolk. We are just going to cook this until it starts to get thick. I'm just going to add our bloomed gelatin that's within the Cointreau. One of the other things that helps do is that helps stop it from cooking because we're putting in room temperature Cointreau.
So this is going to be that part of the base of that mousse.
Okay.
I started the syrup over there, which I will explain in a second, but first we want to get these yolks whipping. This is syrup with just some water and maple sugar, and I'm getting that started. We're going to bring it up to a boil.
While we're letting that lemon curd cool, we're going to put together our crust. And I have, again, some hazelnuts that are toasted.
Yes.
Sugar and flour. And we're going to put some cocoa powder in there. That's all in there. And then all we have left to add is a little bit of melted butter.
So we're going to let it get super duper fluffy before we add that syrup. And when you're doing something like this, you're timing them so that this is going to be with the right amount right when that syrup is ready to go in it. So the syrup's ready. Now we're just gonna pour it right down the side of the bowl like this.
I just find it so relaxing. I start to zone out while I'm watching you making the crust.
Now we're going to fold this into the whipped cream that we made.
What's the importance of that folding gesture when you're making a mousse?
Well, you just want to be gentle with it because if you are not gentle, it will start to deflate. It's into the middle, out from the side. Put this right into our crust, smooth this down to the edge, and then we are going to put it in the freezer and freeze it until it is solid.
We have our crust that's set up, and we have our lemon curd that's cool. And we're just going to pour some of this so that it covers the bottom. So I'm going to refrigerate that so that sets up so we can pour caramel on that. And we'll just take a look at that cream and we'll see that it's just really nice and soft. Take about 1/3 of it and fold it in here.
This has been in the freezer.
It is set.
So white chocolate in the microwave and you get this beautiful consistency.
And this is a little bit of coconut oil, which we're going to add to it. And essentially we're making homemade magic shell. Pour some of this right on the top.
It's all set up now for being in the refrigerator. So that
okay.
will enable us to pour this caramel on it. We have it's essentially a lemon mousse. We're just going to put that on top. I kind of like letting it just be that rustic dollop kind of looking thing on the top. A couple hours in the refrigerator and you are good to go.
Welcome to our judges table. On my left is Allison Cave of First Prize Pies. And to my right is Alex Stupak of Empellón. Nancy, you tell us about your pie, please.
So today I made a lemon icebox pie. I changed it up a little bit by making a chocolate hazelnut crust and layering it with a chocolate and hazelnut caramel.
So the whole idea, I guess, behind icebox pie is that you don't have to turn on the oven.
Exactly, it's great for summertime.
The flavor of the Cointreau that you put in the lemon curd, it really emerges in combination with the caramel.
I love how crunchy the crust is. It's not soggy or anything.
Is the caramel supposed to kind of seep out?
I wanted it to be a little oozy.
Karen, can you tell us about your icebox pie?
Mine is frozen, so essentially it's like a semi-freddo, maple flavored semi-freddo, and then it has a lightly spiced vanilla crumb crust.
I love how well seasoned this is. There's like a nice amount of salt and it really balances everything out.
What's actually holding the crust together?
Just a little bit of butter.
We've tasted your icebox pies, and I think we have some talking to do, so if you could give us a moment. How do we even evaluate icebox pie? How often do you eat icebox pie?
Not that often. Obviously, flavor is the first thing, but I think you also have to look into the balance of texture.
It's important also because generally the fillings are so creamy and yielding that the crusts have a nice amount of body and texture to it. Kieran's pie was a little bit more all about the texture. Nancy's pie also crunchiness. I mean, I love the texture of that crust.
Had that really dark, salty cocoa edge to it.
She took this challenge very literally and she didn't bake the crust, whereas Kieran baked the crust.
And I do think an icebox pie should be a pie where the oven is not involved.
I loved Kieran's dessert. I think that it was a really beautiful progression of flavors. She did carry this continued maple flavor all the way through. Welcome back, chefs. Thanks again for giving us really delicious desserts that we had to talk about quite a bit to come to a decision. Allison?
I'll start, Nancy, with yours. I loved the way you balanced bitter, tart, sweet, salt flavor. And Kieran, yours, I think, was very much speaking to the flavors that I love in terms of maple and spice. It looked beautiful when it came to the table, and I kind of enjoyed demolishing it as I ate it. I'm gonna go with Kieran. It was really right up my alley.
Nancy, you did a really fabulous job. I truly, truly loved how you had a very wide spectrum of flavors in your dessert. I liked that the crust was that rough. Since I had to make a choice between the two of you, I felt that the balance, Nancy, and yours really won me over.
I applaud you both. You have a difficult job. Pastry is one of the few times where people are eating when they're no longer hungry. Here, and I really admired the structure of your pie. The crust completely, perfectly compacted. It still had that nice, delicate, buttery, fall apart quality about it. Nancy, your flavor profile was really right up my alley. It was tough. I mean, I ate them both voraciously, but I have to go with Nancy.
Congratulations, Nancy. You're the winner of the Icebox Pie Challenge on Dueling Dishes.
Thank you. It was fun.